Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review. Today I am in an extremely good mood because today I can finally do a review that I have been dying to do for months. And that review is the one of Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, or Your Lie in April in English. Shigatsu ended a couple of weeks before I started this channel, so it was pretty far down on my to review list, but today is the day that I can finally review this masterpiece. First of all, I must thank the channel Until Dawn Creeps, because it was of his UDC watchlist for the fall 2014 season that I discovered Shigatsu and that I started to watch it, and it is still one of the best anime decisions that I ever made in my life. And before I start this review, you can probably already guess what I'm going to say. This review will contain massive spoilers. This is an anime that I just have to tell spoilers about. But as usual, I will tell you in advance when the spoilers are coming up, and I will provide you with links to skip the spoiler parts if you want to. So Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso tells the story of Arima Kosei, a last year middle school boy who was once a piano prodigy. He was known as the human metronome and he won every competition that he entered. But after the death of his mother, Kosei developed this mental illness and now he can't stand the sound of his own piano playing anymore. Therefore he retired from the piano and went on to live in anonymity. Now we're 2 years further and Kosei still lives in this grey, dull and boring world. But one day he meets Kaori Miyazono, a young violinist and the absolute opposite of Kosei. She's all bright and colorful and she takes life head on. Kaori slowly starts to turn Kosei's world upside down as she tries to get him back behind the piano. I want to start this review with a word of adoration for the animation in this anime. This is the kind of animation that I adore. The coloring was beautiful with lots of bright colors. Light and darkness were very well used in certain scenes, and the animation of the instruments was marvelous. Because usually when an instrument like the piano is animated, the fingers just move a bit from here to there. But in Shigatsu, every key that is pressed is correct. Every pressed key is in sync with the sound that you're hearing at that specific moment. Shigatsu hired some of Japan's best pianists to make sure that the animation of the piano was perfectly synced with the sound. Now, I'm not familiar with the tones on a violin, but I think that I may say that also those were animated perfectly. Next up are the characters. I found that the characters were very realistic and fleshed out. Also, the relationships between all the characters were very interesting and I created an instant bond with some of them. At some points, I also had a really good laugh with Shigatsu, especially the relationship between the two main characters, Kosei and Kaori, delivered some hilarious moments. Although sometimes the comedy was a bit misplaced, like not at the right timing. The romance is always on the background, but you feel the love that Kosei feels for Kaori or that Tsubaki feels for Kosei. The final scene where the romantic platform comes to its climax really got me, but more about that scene in the spoiler part of this review. And then we come to the music, one of the key elements in Shigatsu. And what can I say? Of course, the music is awesome in Shigatsu. I am a huge fan of piano and violin music, so I really enjoyed this music. And what amazed me even more and made my respect for the writers of this anime even greater is that for one of the classical piano pieces that is used in Shigatsu, the crew created a completely new violin transcription for that piece. To me, that shows the huge determination that this crew had for this anime, because creating an entirely new classical piece is no easy business. But apart from the classical music, also the intro and ending songs were very good. Especially the acoustic versions of the two ending songs Kirameki and Orange that are used in the last episode struck my heart because they intensified the feelings to an extra high level. The music in Shigatsu was so inspiring that together with my discovery of animens on YouTube, it pushed me into finally starting to learn to play the piano myself. In fact, the very day that this review will be uploaded is the day that I will receive my first piano lesson. So you can say that in some way Shigatsu literally changed my life. A rare thing to see in anime is that the title of the series carries so much meaning. During the entire anime, the title Your Lie in April doesn't make any sense. That is until the last episode, where every piece of the puzzle falls into its place. My mind just blew when I realized the meaning of the title. Your Lie in April is definitely my favorite anime title so far. But the strongest point of this anime has to be the story. It's absolutely awesome, one of the best storylines I have seen till today. The story of Kosei's mother that covered the first half of the anime was a good starter and it set the mood for the rest of the series. But the storyline of the second half just blew me away. And now I'm going to tell some spoilers about that storyline, so click the link to skip it if you haven't seen Shigatsu yet. Because the drama in this storyline was amazing. Right from the get-go it sucks you into the story and it gets better and better as the series progresses, all coming to a gigantic emotional climax in the last episode. Speaking of that last episode, it left me absolutely speechless. It's so emotionally loaded and it completely surprised me. Because at the beginning of the anime, I thought that Kaori was going to die. But as the series progressed, I changed my mind. I thought, no, they're not going to do that. She's gonna beat her illness and she and Kosei will perform once again and then live happily ever after. So I was completely caught off guard when she actually died in the last episode. A daring ending to take, but it surely paid off. Also, the way they said goodbye to Kaori was so beautiful and touching that I still get tears in my eyes when I think of it. And if that wasn't emotional enough, the scene after that where Kosei reads Kaori's love letter just broke my heart. That's also where we finally realize the meaning of the title and where the romance comes to its climax. Everything came together in that one scene. Now, I didn't cry with the last episode, but I was this close to it. Now, besides the comedy that sometimes was a bit misplaced, I have some other minor complaints about Shigatsu. The first one being that the first story of Kosei's mother was a good tone setter, but it didn't really get to me. Luckily, that was more than compensated by the second half of the anime. I would have liked a more definitive end to the relationship between two certain characters. Now, I can't tell which ones, because that would be another massive spoiler. We get a hint that their relationship will move to the next level, but there is still the fact that Kosei will move away. So I would have liked a more definitive ending there. A little thing that bothered me was that we didn't get the results of the final competition. Who won that competition and how did Kosei do? Of course, this is just a small thing, because it actually didn't matter anymore at that point. Not to Kosei and not to me. And my last point was a complaint at first, but it's no longer one. The last shot of Shigatsu shows an item that appeared without clear explanation. I wondered where it came from. Luckily, this issue gets resolved in the OVA, which wasn't really what I expected it to be, but it gave us that solution. So as a conclusion, I am so happy that I followed this anime from week to week. My Thursdays are not the same anymore since the end of Shigatsu. This was an absolute diamond of an anime. A 13th place on Anime Planet and an 11th one on my anime list proves that I'm not the only one who really enjoyed Shigatsu. So I'm going to rate Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso at a well-deserved 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason that I don't give it the full 5 out of 5 stars is that I didn't cry at the end, which is like the ultimate goal for a drama anime. Shigatsu will definitely be a big contender at my GV Anime Awards at the end of the year. For now, I only see one anime that's capable of beating it, and that's the currently airing Charlotte, because oh man, the feelings in that anime. But I highly recommend watching this anime, even if you're not a fan of classical music like me. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso was an absolute beauty of an anime. I even dare to say that I include it in my now big 4 of drama anime. So if you like Shigatsu, then I of course recommend watching the other 3 of the big 4, being Anohana the Flower We Saw That Day, Angel Beats and Clannad After Story. If you're looking for something more musical related, then I recommend Nodame Cantabile, which is also an anime that centers around classical music. Nodame is, by the way, one of the next reviews you can expect on this channel. And with that I conclude my long-awaited review of Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso. As usual, you can find a full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put them in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.